just for context, I'm not a huge fan of talking about production numbers, but I want to help you understand where we started and where we've gotten to. My team last year helped just under 600 families for almost 300 million in production. And again, I'm not a huge fan of the number, but what I'm really proud of is how we help those clients. Not how many we help, but how we help them. And what I hope you take from today is everyone here should strive to really become more valuable to their clients. Right? We want to fundamentally shift the perception of what it means to be a real mortgage professional. And I'll walk you guys through my journey, ultimately where I think you all can go as well. Before I do that, I have to set the frame, a little Renee plug there. We have two problems to solve right now that are pretty substantial in the mortgage business. Our first problem is that we are all exactly the same. Don't get too offended, I'll get to that in a second. Second problem is our clients are getting what they want, but they're not getting what they need. So, to the first point, we're all the same. I know you're going to say, no, we're not. I'm way different. I'm substantially better than that guy and that person over there. So, I'm going to do a little question here, or a little survey. Ask yourself, well, I'm going to ask you, why should I work with you to get a mortgage? And hopefully everyone has that answer teed up, right? Tip of your tongue, you get asked that question every single day. You should be able to knock that question out or that answer out immediately. Well, now, do it without saying the following things. You can't say customer service. You can't say speed. You can't say lower competitive rates. You can't say certainty of closing on time. And lastly, you can't say because you have a lot of experience. So just take 5 seconds. Now answer that question. Anybody got anything? What do you got?
Personality.
Personality. Great. What do you got?
Google me.
Google you. Okay. I might take you up on that. So you might be saying, well, why can't I say those? Those are all the things I normally say. That's how I tell my customers I'm different. And the answer is because we are all saying those things. Every single one of your competitors says that exact same line. I've coached and talked with thousands of mortgage professionals across this country, and one of my favorite questions to ask is, why you? A lot of times they stumble, which is a challenge. But then they say service, speed, so on and so forth, certainty. So if every loan officer is giving the same value proposition, doesn't that make your product irrelevant? Right? Does your customer even know why they need your loan versus any loan? And how can you get people to understand they need a loan from you versus any other mortgage lender? So I did some research. I didn't Google you, but I Googled how to find a good mortgage lender. I don't know if anybody's ever tried this, but it is bleak. It's not a good outcome. This is what you see. Compare rates and terms for multiple lenders. You could save $1,500 over the life of your loan, and $3,000 by getting 5 quotes over the life of your loan. Next is, you should shop around. Right? More than a third of home buyers receive multiple quotes, negotiated lower interest rates. And then from Time Magazine, number 1, look at the lender's rates and fees. Congratulations, this is who we are. Right? This is our industry in a nutshell. So I thought, okay, well, we got to change that, right? I'm going to Google what mortgage lender is going to help me be the most successful homeowner. Guess what I got? Now, granted, I tested creative liberties. That's not really what I got, right? The rates, fees, and all those other things still came up because nobody told the Google that what we do exists. Nobody knows that should be a thing that they even should try to be. This is a successful home. Don't we just own a home and live in it and pay for it? So that's the first problem we have. I'm going to get to how to solve that in a second. The second problem is our clients are getting what they want, which is a mortgage, which is the reason they've raised their hand or gone online and said, I want a mortgage. So we're giving that to them. But they're definitely not getting what they need. So I'm going to do a survey of show of hands here. Raise your hand if you received any education in real estate or finance prior to getting in a real estate or mortgage business. This is prior to. Yeah, looks about right. So, next question. Raise your hand if you're 100% confident that you're currently doing all the right things in your own life and you have the exact strategy you need to be successful in real estate and finance. Yeah, that's the problem. We're a room full of mortgage professionals. How do you think our clients are doing? How do you think our clients feel about owning a home and then saying, hey, Mr. Smith, do you know what to do after you buy this home for the next 30 years? He's going to have no clue, because nowhere in our society do we teach real estate or finance. The only way we get to know about it is if we have access to information or we go search it out, and less than 1% of our country has that. So why are we making so many bad assumptions, right? We're assuming that when we sell Mr. Smith his house, he's going to know all the things he needs to know in every aspect of real estate or finance for the next 30 years. We're going to send him some recipe email from our CRM, and we're going to hope that he calls us back. And that's what we're doing wrong. And hopefully that's what we all fix today. So if you really want to know what's actually happening with our clients, there were some studies done around this. 64% of millennials have regrets about buying their current home. And was it 43% of every homeowner has a regret about buying their home. This is a phenomenal thing to show your clients and to really open up the scope of what they believe it means to own a home. The 30 days they work with you is nowhere near as important as the next 30 years of their life. And if you can solve that for them, you're the biggest hero they have. Another one is, 1 in 5 Americans say a housing purchase mistake they made in the past is now holding them back from changing their new situation. The simple fact is, we didn't do our due diligence with that client. We put them in the wrong loan, we put them in the wrong property, we didn't ask the right questions. And so because they clicked button got mortgage, without any help or guidance or planning, they're in a challenging spot right now. And you should take ownership of that. This one's interesting. Most Americans say mortgage debt should be paid first after credit cards. First of all, it shouldn't be paid nearly at all. Right? Just pay your mortgage normally. You have a 2.5%. Go let your money go do other things. But the shocking thing is that 28% of people think that the mortgage debt should be paid off before credit cards. And it's not shocking why. We haven't given that information. So, we have to understand that these two problems are not problems that are going to go away on their own. They're going to exacerbate and get worse. When we're asked why you, we all say the exact same thing. So the client has no other option but to say, well, you're all the same, so this guy's a quarter point lower, I'm going to go with him. And we're just selling loans, we're not helping people the way they need help the most. So at this point, you're focused, all right, Ryan, you get it. We got problems. How do we solve those? Well, first is don't do what I did. I'm going to help you take a bit of a shortcut to finding the answer to this. Because I took the road on the right. I'm going to help you guys take the one on the left. In 2005, I joined the mortgage industry, and I was definitely part of the problem. I was a subprime refinance call center guy. I was selling mortgages before I knew what a mortgage was. And I started making a little bit of money, and then I made some really bad decisions. I bought a $750,000 house, a $100,000 car, and a $10,000 watch all in the same month. Yeah, that was fun. Fast forward 2.5, 3 years later, I was $350,000 upside down on my house. I was $80,000 in debt. I gave my car back, and I was lost. And I just literally was making my way through the industry, living on credit cards in hope. And I was going to get out in the mortgage industry, and I remember telling my dad, I said, Dad, I'm just going to go to business school or something. Like, this is not working. He said, why don't you go talk to realtors and use your personality and get some referrals? And I looked at him in disbelief. I'm like, no one's told us that. Like, you just buy internet leads or like send out mailers when people call you and you just do refinance. That's not a thing. He looks at me and I realized at that moment, I'd never met a realtor. He just found that out. I never helped someone with a purchase. I didn't have a past client database. Nobody referred me anybody. And he was like, well, maybe you should go to business school. No. He urged me to stay in, and I'm happy that I listened to him. I remember in 2011, I got my first business card, and I was super scared. I went to my first broker preview. The paper was shaking as I was trying to read. But that year, just by putting my head down, I think we helped 27 families for maybe 11 million volume or so. And then we kept pushing and pushing, and through 14 to 16-hour work days and being at every event and showing up as much as possible. Over the next 3 years, we helped 285 families for 134 million. And looking back, I keep thinking it's not just hard work. We really focused on customer service because that was the only way I thought we could differentiate ourselves. Right? Because we all had very similar interest rates. We all closed roughly the same. We have very similar products. It was after subprime. We had chocolate, vanilla. There was no more 31 flavors. Non-QM didn't exist. And so I said, if we really want to make it, we need to have the best customer service because that's the only thing that's going to differentiate us. So we worked really hard and created a phenomenal 5-star client experience. I mean, we sold products on this. So I went around the country training people on how to have the best service. We met with our clients 3 times. We had their names on their parking spaces, name on the marquee when they came in, food, drinks. I mean, it was over the top. Our gifting process, our communication. And I would put our service experience up against Four Seasons, Amazon, Apple. Like our customer service was there. And I thought, you know what, we made it. This is it. This is what the rest of the career is going to look like. And in 2016, we became the #1 lender in Orange County, and I was one of the top 25 in the country. And I thought, that's it, right? All you have to do is have good customer service. Easy game. Well, then challenging started to happen. The first problem I had was I was not proud of what I did for a living. I wasn't proud of the fact that I was #1 in selling debt. I realized, people say, oh, why are you in this business? I love helping people. BS. If you love helping people, you would actually help them, not just complete their transaction. And I hope you're aware that if you didn't do it, they'd do a mortgage somewhere else. So not only was I not proud, but when people asked me what I did for work, I kind of shrugged and go, oh, I'm in the mortgage business. And why? Because I thought we were these guys. I don't know if the volume's up.
What was it 4 years ago?
10, maybe 15.
Yeah, I was a bartender. Now I was both.
I'm sure you've all seen The Big Short.
Yeah.
That's how people saw mortgage lenders. To be honest, likely how they see them today. I guarantee that's how I saw myself. And if that wasn't enough, I remember vividly Stephanie, not to say her last name. Stephanie called me in 2018, a year after we helped her buy her home for her and her family. And Stephanie said, hey, Ryan, we have to sell our house. I said, why? We just helped you buy it last year. Everything's going great. She says, my husband passed away unexpectedly, and now we have to sell it. I said, well, you have life insurance? You get the answer. And at that moment, there's nothing in the world that could make me think that that wasn't my fault. How could I possibly sell some of the largest debt they have and give them the largest liability they have in their primary residence and not explain to them that they need to protect that with life insurance? And the reason why is because no one taught me that. I didn't think that was part of my job. I just send them an online application, they fill it out, they get their documents, I pre-approve them, I fund the loan, and they leave. That's the mortgage business, right? And then they stumble through the rest of their life, and we hope they come back to it at some point. And that sticks with me still to this day, and that was one of the major emphases for why we created the platform that we created. And if that wasn't bad enough, I started losing clients left and right. I started hearing over and over, Ryan, you and your team are great, your customer service was amazing, I love my name in the parking space, but they're a quarter lower, and I have to have that loan for 30 years. They said they have good customer service too. And look at all the stars they have. Right? They have good reviews, good enough. Loan Monkey's got 4.7, they must be great. Loan Monkey. I I'm thinking, wait a minute. Like, our customer service is amazing. How do we lose to Loan Monkey? And then I realized, oh crap, we should lose to Loan Monkey. Because I'm not showing them anything substantially different than Loan Monkey. I'm telling them the same things that the guy at Loan Monkey is saying. But when that transaction closes, they're going to get the same experience. And the most important part of their life is the next 30 years, not those 30 days. And neither one of us addressed that challenge. So they should save as much money as possible because they're going to need as much money as possible because they're going to make bad decisions. This is when I knew it was time for a change. All right, we had to switch. We had to do something different. So, anyone read the Blue Ocean Strategy in here? Show of hands. Awesome. If you haven't, please go get that book. Blue Ocean Strategy basically says there's red oceans and there's blue oceans. Red oceans is the mortgage industry as you know it today. We literally do the same thing, we say the same thing, we fight over the same clients, we cannibalize each other, and we race to the bottom. And we wonder why. We get upset when people don't go with us because they found a lower interest rate. We're doing this to each other. A blue ocean is when you create something so unique and different that you stand apart. And you're in a class of your own, right? You're wide open. So we'll go line to line. Competing in an existing market space. That's what we're doing today. We're competing in the mortgage market space as we know it. The blue ocean strategy is to create an uncontested market space where you don't even have competitors. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Next is, we're all trying to beat the competition. We've made the competition irrelevant. Imagine this. What's your name, sir?
Giannis.
Giannis. So Giannis, Val here is the other, Val's Loan Monkey. No offense, Val.
Thanks.
Giannis, I'm your lender. Val gives you a quarter point lower. I said rate, speed, service, all those great things. She's saying all those same things. Who do you pick?
Loan Monkey.
Right? But imagine this. I'm going to say, Giannis, the problem is you're comparing apples versus oranges. You're comparing a loan for 30 days versus our product, which is 30 years worth of proactive guidance and advice and consultation that's going to help you grow your generational wealth, plan for future real estate goals, avoid bad decisions, and be a very successful homeowner in every sense of real estate finance. Let me show you how we're going to do that. Do I have a shot now?
Oh, you got it.
So what I've done is I've made Loan Monkey irrelevant because I'm not selling the same product as them anymore. They're selling a loan. I'm selling a much more secure and better financial future for my client. And then lastly is exploiting existing demand. That's what we do today, right? So someone shows themselves as a potential buyer or refinancer by going online. That's the existing demand. Creating and capturing new demand is everybody else. The National Association of Realtors says that only 1% of the population will buy, sell, or finance a home in any given year. And we are all over that 1%. Try and get a person who wants to get a home loan walking through that door and see what happens right now. We're going to red ocean all over them. Right? But we now can go after the 99% of America who's not planning on buying or selling financing home, who needs our help, who needs our value. And we can sign them up on our platform and give them 8 different unique and valuable services. And it's our responsibility to then help them decide if they should buy, sell, or finance a home. We'll get into that more here in a little bit. So we transitioned. 2019, I said, all right, we got to figure out this after process. Our before process was amazing. We fully underwrote every loan. We wrote offers that looked like cash. We educated the client. We met with them multiple times. We had that part down. The during process, 5-star client experience, gifting, speed, efficiency, communication, really good at that. Problem is, anyone can say they do those things. Now, very few people actually will, but anyone can say them. So we had to figure out the after process. Because that was the blue ocean. Right? The after process is what allowed us to say that we are a different and unique lender. So we started creating little things, little by little. Let's add this, let's add this, let's do this, let's do that. And then we started realizing, well, look, we think this is valuable, but do they? Like, do they even know this is important? And for anybody who understands value, value has to be something that's agreed upon. If I think what I do is incredibly valuable, but the client doesn't, then there's no value there. But alternatively, We can't let the client only decide what value is because they don't know what they need, they only know what they want. And the Google is not making our life easy when it comes to that. I remember a Henry Ford quote that says, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. People didn't know about cars. So, hey, what do you need? I just need a faster horse. That's the mortgage industry today. They don't know that mortgage professionals can actually make their life better, that they can help them grow in so many ways. So they're asking for faster horses when they're asking for lower rates. Steve Jobs said the same thing. He said it's really hard to design products by focus groups. People don't know what they want until you show it to them. And this is one of the funnest parts of my job, is being able to sit down with a client and saying, look, this is what you expect. This is what we do. And I can't stress how important it is, because you're never going to become wealthy by saving an eighth of a point on your interest rate. No one has ever gained success in real estate or finance by saving $500 on their closing costs. People become wealthy because they have access and a team of people that are providing them information and opportunities that they should take advantage of in appropriate times in their life. We can be those people. We should be those people. Our clients deserve it. So one of the things we started doing is that let's start asking them. Right, we're just going to ask our clients, do you think this is valuable? So, and guys, if I'm going to put a text thing on the screen a little bit later, so get your phones out and get them ready. But we can send you this post-closing call script. If you implement this post-closing call script, not only will you have a more engaged, consistent database of clients, but you will feel a lot better about what you do for a living. And so we spend 20 to 30 minutes on the phone after the transaction closes, and we explain the next 20 to 30 years of our relationship with that client. What they're going to get from us, when they should engage with it, how important it is, how we're going to communicate with them on an annual financial review basis, all the things that are going to make them a successful homeowner, and they buy in. And one of the questions we ask is, hey, why did you choose us? Look at all these people, you could have chosen any of them. Go online, there's a lot of people that have different rates. He's like, why did you ultimately choose us? And if they say, oh, you have the best rate, well, that's not good, so fix that. But if they say customer service, relationship, we liked you, you were nice, the realtor referred us, it was easy, those are all very sweet things to say, but they're not what you want. What you want them to say is, Ryan, I chose you and your team because you were the only mortgage company that showed me the future. You're the only mortgage company that committed to helping me be a really successful homeowner. I didn't know going into this we needed that. But when you showed us that, it opened our eyes, and no one else even mentioned it. And we realized that's going to make or break our success. Right? Not now, it's later. If you get that response from your clients, you've won the game. Just keep doing that over and over and over again. So, spoiler alert, when we started asking, over 75% of our clients said that they chose to work with us because of our commitment to helping them after the transaction closed. Just take that in for a second. Any of you here haven't struggled with rates or fees conversation, which everyone has since the beginning of time? To solve that. So from that, we created Art of Homeownership. We said we have to brand this, right? We have to make this something that we can actually have the client wrap their head around, because if I just do that sometimes, and sometimes I do this, and every now and then, if I'm super bored, I'll call a past client on their kind of annual review. Right? That's not something that really gets people excited. So we had to put it into a package service where we could say, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. So maybe you ask yourself, okay, dude, you've been up there for a while, what is it that you do? Right? Like, what are these great value services? How do you help your client? Now, I'm not going to go through a whole pitch of our homeownership, because that takes a while. So I'm just going to give you the high-level version. There's 8 things that we get to offer to every single one of our clients that makes us stand out amongst every other lender in the country. It is our blue ocean. The first thing is we get to commit to help our clients actually proactively keep their home in great shape and increase that home's value over time. Has anybody in here ever been able to make that commitment to a client? Has anybody heard of anyone making that commitment to a client? Anyone think it's a valuable commitment? So our clients will actually have someone come to their home, or they can do a digital inspection with their phone, and they'll have a home concierge for their house on a weekly basis. Val's going to get us things and says, hey Val, it's been 6 months, time to change your air filter. By the way, here's the one you need. We know you've been in your house. Winter's coming, do X. Summer's coming, do Y. And if you didn't realize, one of those 64 or 43% of concerns that people have are regrets after buying a home. One of the biggest regrets is people underestimated home maintenance and home repair costs and the time and energy and commitment it took to do that. Because as a renter, you never have to do that. You just make a call and your landlord does it. So we can solve a major pain point. Not only that, but if the client ever needs anything, they can click on any one of these services, and the concierge knows their home, so they pick up the phone and say, hey Danny, yeah, I'd be happy to help you with that. And we'll send over, if this is about the bid for the project, we'll send somebody out. They keep the receipts, they keep the invoices, they keep the vendor contact information, paint colors, carpet types, appliance information. It's like a Carfax for your house. And when the client goes to sell that home, they can list it and say this home comes with its own home concierge. The buyer then gets to adopt all of that information. They know who worked on the property. They know what the person paid for it. If the client has any capital gains taxes, guess what? They save money there too. Next is, we help our clients fully understand their net worth through real estate. Not only what it is, but what they can and most importantly should do with it. Now we partner with our good friends at HomeBot for this service. I'm sure you all know them well. If you don't, you should. Being able to have someone on a monthly basis check into their digital interactive bank statement for their house, which is, by the way, where 85% of most of America's wealth is stored, is in your home. They need to know what they can do with this. Most importantly, they need to know what they should do with something with it. And then what we've done is we've built in all the scripts so you can put in all your videos throughout this, because the client will read it and they go, oh, I don't really know what that means. And we are not a very aggressive culture when it comes to learning. We just go back to Netflix and chill. So we need to be able to put video content on there that says, hey, this is what that means. And we have every script and everything already in there. So our clients love this, and they look at it at almost an 80% open rate. The average email open rate for a real estate or a lending email is 6%. We're over 80. And it's not just because HomeBot's great, they are, but it's because we spent that 20 to 30 minutes explaining, hey, this is what you're getting. This is why you're getting it. This is why you should open it. This is why you should click the buttons and engage with us. And the people that engage with us the most on this platform, they're the ones that just become the most successful. Next is we do an annual financial review every single year. Notice I didn't say the annual mortgage review. Please remove that from your vocabulary altogether. Most people likely don't do them. I never did them. I wanted to, said I should. But then I realized an annual mortgage review, most people have a rate that starts with 2 in front of it. Anybody want that mortgage reviewed when rates are in the 3s? I'm good, Ryan. I've reviewed it myself. Talk to you next year. We want to help them with more than just their interest rate. We want to help them with their totality of their holistic financial situation. So we go through things like protection, which we should have done with Stephanie. Life insurance, disability insurance, umbrella insurance policies, things most people don't know about. We go through financial planning, tax strategies, retirement planning, budgeting, savings. Keep in mind, people aren't stagnant. When someone buys a house, you can take a picture of them, you can turn around, you can write everything about them on the back. And 6 months later, everything on the back changes. 12 months later, it changes. 2 years, 3 years. People's lives change and evolve. We can't assume that they're going to know how to navigate those changes and evolutions. So we have to go through these things with them every single year. We go through generational wealth planning. What are your parents doing? What are your children doing? Are you aware of that? We go through future real estate goals. People don't buy real estate because with a plan, they buy it with emotion. Oh crap, I got fired, I gotta buy a new house. Oh, I got relocated, I gotta sell and buy. My wife saw that one, she likes it, let's buy that one. There's very little planning when it comes to real estate. And the last thing, credit and debt management, which we saw from that earlier slide, people don't do well with. They don't know when to leverage, they don't know when to pay down debt. The difference between helping somebody just own a home and be a successful homeowner lies a lot in this. This is one of my favorite ones. It's called the perfect mortgage promise. We can look our client in the eye and say, Mr. Smith, you can feel really confident in knowing that we are going to be actively managing your mortgage for you. On a daily, monthly, weekly basis, we're going to make sure you're always in the right mortgage and always in the right home. I'll tell you a quick little story here. We had a couple who we were helping, we had them approved for a mortgage. They were out, offer got accepted. They said, you know what, Ryan, you guys are great, but I got 3/8 lower from another lender. 3/8 is a big deal, especially in our county with our loan side. And I realized that I met with my mortgage advisor on my team, and he just didn't do that great of a job explaining the post-closing part of our process. He said, look, give me 15 minutes, come back in, I want to explain to you what we do and how we do it. She said, okay. So she came back in and I showed her this slide. And I said to her and her husband, look, how confident are you that you're going to ask yourself all these questions? Should I refinance the mortgage? Should I pay it down faster? Should I convert adjustable to fixed? Take cash out, move up, move down, buy investment property, second home? How confident are you going to ask those questions? She goes, yeah, not very. I said, okay, well, let's assume that you did. Let's assume you asked some of those questions. Would you be 100% confident that you always know how to answer those questions as your life is changing and evolving? She looks at her husband, and they go, no, we won't. I say, the problem is you think that you're supposed to do that. We believe that's our responsibility. And the money you think you're going to save by going with a potentially cheaper interest rate is going to pale in comparison to what will happen if you ask and answer these questions at the right time in your life. We will make your savings 10 times the amount of money you think you're going to save by going the cheap route, by constantly giving you guidance and advice. So she looks at her husband and she says, look, if you're going to do all that art of homeownership stuff and do this, we're in. I'm not shopping anybody else. We're going with you. We need a partner. We didn't know going into this what we didn't know. We didn't know we wanted or needed this, but now that we do, we'd kind of be idiots to not do it. I said, finally someone believes it. So, this is a powerful slide to show your clients. Next is we help people relocate. Anybody know the 3 most stressful events in somebody's life? Ill. Death, divorce, and moving. So people say, I have great customer service. Awesome, what do you do to help your clients move? Nothing. 3rd most stressful event, you got nothing. So our clients, as soon as they go into contract, they have an app that goes on their phone, it timelines the entire move, and they can do everything right there from our branded app. They can schedule their moving company and everything, packing information, everything they need to move from one home to the next. They can get their cable, internet, phone, electricity, gas, everything hooked up right in one area. And it tells them who to use and how to do it, and they get to pick from it. They get to change their address, change their voter registration, change all their subscription services, all right in one place. And then we're going to help them save money on new furniture, groceries, gym memberships, any community-based thing moving forward. And our clients say, wow, like no one's ever helped us move like this before. Next thing we do is we get to tell people never to sell your home without ensuring that you're maximizing the sales price. What do you mean? Well, most people just sell their home as is, but if they were to put maybe $20,000 worth of work into it, upgrade the floors, countertops, staging, painting, they could probably make another $50,000 by bringing up to market standard. But they don't do it because they don't have the money or nobody telling them that they can. So our clients know we're going to actually invest in that for you. We're going to give you that $20,000. We're not going to charge you for it. There's no interest. There's no fees. Right? We'll do that work. Home sells. You make the extra $50,000. You make the net $30,000. $30,000 more than if you would have just sold the home without consulting with us. So all of our clients know we're not selling unless we call Ryan's team and make sure we know we're doing this right. That's called dependency. Right? We want to create dependency on us in every aspect of real estate or finance because they should. They don't know what they're doing. And then lastly, we can actually help someone be an all-cash buyer if they don't have all cash. So we'll say Val here owns a $400,000 house. She wants to buy a $600,000 house, but she can't qualify for both. We tried everything. Doesn't work. Now, anyone think she's getting a contingent offer accepted in this market? Cue laughter, right? No chance she's getting a contingent offer accepted. So she does what? Nothing. She just sits there. She's bummed. Well, I can say, hey, Val, guess what? We can actually fully underwrite your loan, and as soon as that $600,000 house comes on the market, we're going to go buy it for you all cash. We have a third-party financing company that will buy that home. You can then move into that home. You'll have 6 to 12 months to sell your departing residence. We'll actually upgrade your departing residence for you to make sure you're maximizing the sales price. Use those proceeds when you sold that home, transact in the new home that you're currently living in. That's your long-term forever home. We're getting the market unstuck when we do that. So when I tell people we're going to be the most valuable person in their life when it comes to real estate finance, I believe it. I mean it, because I can see the results of what we do. So, obviously, we were excited about this, right? We said, okay, we've solved the two problems. Right? We're not the same, and we're definitely different, and we're going to help the client by giving them what they actually need. But one thing we found was this had an enormous impact on every other aspect of our business too. We had increased conversion. We didn't have to be the cheapest interest rate. Our database engagement was through the roof. They saw us every week. They saw us every month. They heard from us every single year. We enhanced lead generation because we're lead generating every human being on the planet, not just the 1% of the people who want to buy, sell, or finance a home today. We can literally engage, adopt homeowners and prospective homeowners into our world, show them value, and then help them at some point.